So the next topic that we are going to deal in water supply engineering is hardness removal or softening. Now it's an optional process and not need not be done always. So hardness removal is an optional step and is generally done only if the hardness is too much or the water is to be used for industrial purposes. Now in industrial purposes it is generally required that we use sterilized water or a water which is free of the hardness, because it will cause pitting in the, and that is it may cause the rusting of the equipments or the steel machineries and whatever where it is being used. This process is usually done before sedimentation process. Okay, so it does not come after your disinfection, but it comes generally before sedimentation. Now hardness is generally of two types. First is the temporary hardness and the second one is permanent hardness. Temporary hardness is also called as carbonate hardness and permanent hardness also called as non-carbonate hardness. Temporary hardness is again of majorly of calcium hardness and magnesium hardness. Then this calcium hardness can be removed by boiling, but this magnesium hardness, it cannot be removed by boiling. Addition of lime, it will remove calcium hardness as well as magnesium hardness. So the way to remove temporary hardness is, if only calcium hardness is present, you can boil the water and that calcium hardness would be removed. But if both of these are there, then you will have to use the addition of lime. How to remove non-carbonate hardness is that lime soda treatment and zeolite process. So today we are going to do till lime soda treatment. In the next lecture we'll be dealing with zeolite processes and some other processes. So let us start with boiling. The carbonate hardness in the water will usually exist as calcium bicarbonate. Now see, as we know that this boiling is only going to treat the calcium hardness, it won't treat the magnesium hardness. So carbonate hardness will be present as calcium bicarbonate as well as magnesium bicarbonate. But let us see what happens when only if calcium bicarbonate is present. When such water is heated, see this calcium bicarbonate plus heat, it is going to produce calcium carbonate as a precipitate, and it's an insoluble precipitate, as well as carbon dioxide gas will effervesce through the water and H2O is going to form. Boiling of water, however, cannot remove temporary hardness caused by magnesium. So we have magnesium bicarbonate plus heat is going to cause magnesium carbonate, it is going to produce, but this magnesium carbonate is soluble in water, so it is as almost like useless, right? Because if this precipitate if this product which is being formed here, if it is again getting dissolved in the water, what is the use? That is why boiling cannot remove magnesium bicarbonate. Why it is not suitable for a large scale? Boiling needs a lot of heat, and if we are thinking of it on a large scale, first of all, it cannot remove the magnesium bicarbonate. Secondly, to produce such a lot of heat, you need a lot of energy, which is not feasible and not suitable as well. Second process of removing temporary hardness, which is addition of lime. Now this is what lime looks like, and we use hydrated lime. Okay, this is what hydrated lime looks like. The chemical formula is CaOH twice. So magnesium carbonate plus calcium plus hydrated lime will give you magnesium hydroxide, which is insoluble, plus calcium carbonate, which is insoluble. So both of these would be given as precipitates. Magnesium bicarbonate, which the boiling of water was not able to remove, that would be when it reacts with hydrated lime, it forms calcium bicarbonate plus magnesium hydroxide. Again, this calcium bicarbonate, when it is getting reacted with hydrated lime, it is forming calcium carbonate, which is a insoluble precipitate plus water. So both of these bicarbonates are getting treated, right? The calcium carbonate and magnesium hydroxide are precipitated and can be removed in sedimentation tank. So generally whatever precipitates you get here, as I already told you, this hardness removal has to be done prior to sedimentation, right? So that when the water goes into sedimentation tank, all these are precipitated in the sedimentation tank itself. This method is adopted for waters having only temporary hardness, but if permanent hardness is present, we obviously cannot use addition of lime. So what is used when permanent hardness is there? Lime soda treatment and zeolite process. Let us first concentrate on the lime soda treatment and let us see what different reactions lime and soda both produce. So lime, you already saw what is lime. Lime is generally the hydrated lime which I just told you. These are the same reactions that we saw just now. Magnesium carbonate plus the hydrated lime is going to give you magnesium hydroxide insoluble and calcium carbonate insoluble. Then again this magnesium bicarbonate, when it is reacted with hydrated lime, you get calcium bicarbonate and magnesium hydroxide insoluble. Again when calcium bicarbonate reacting, we get calcium carbonate as precipitate. Now this was, if you remember, this is just the temporary hardness, right? But we are talking about permanent hardness. So what does this lime soda treatment tell you? Lime soda treatment tells us that it is capable of even removing the temporary hardness, not only the permanent hardness. Permanent hardness it will remove definitely, but it will also remove the temporary hardness. Now we come to the non-carbonate hardnesses, that is non-carbonate hardness of magnesium. One form of its non-carbonate hardness is magnesium chloride. When it reacts with the hydrated lime, it is going to form magnesium hydroxide insoluble, plus it is going to form non-carbonate hardness of calcium. So this hydrated lime is not going to react with this non-carbonate hardness. It is reacting with non-carbonate hardness of magnesium, but it is merely just converting it into non-carbonate hardness of calcium. Again, one more non-carbonate hardness we'll see, MgSO4 magnesium sulfate plus hydrated lime will give you magnesium hydroxide insoluble and calcium sulfate, which is non-carbonate hardness of calcium. One more non-carbonate hardness is dissolved carbon dioxide. So free dissolved carbon dioxide plus hydrated lime will give you calcium carbonate, which is insoluble, plus 2 times H2O. So what are precipitates are getting formed here, and what all things the lime cannot react with. This is the precipitate which is forming. This is also precipitate. This is also precipitate. This is what the lime cannot react with, and this is also what the lime cannot react with. So the things that lime cannot react with, soda is going to take care of those things. So CaCl2, which was formed here, plus soda, which is Na2CO3, will give you CaCO3, a precipitate calcium carbonate, plus sodium chloride, which is soluble. CaSO4, calcium sulfate, plus the Na2CO3 will give you again calcium carbonate as precipitate, and Na2SO4 sodium sulfate, which is again a salt of sodium, and it is soluble. This is also a salt of sodium, this is also a salt of sodium. So now you see the temporary hardness as well as the permanent hardness, both are removed. Therefore it is seen that lime helps in removing all the carbonate hardness, and also it reacts with non-carbonate hardness of magnesium to form non-carbonate hardness of calcium. Non-carbonate hardness of calcium is finally removed by soda. Now generally what happens is that there is a lot of now obviously the sodium salts which are created here are soluble, but they are in less quantity and it is not objectionable. What happens is that a lot of precipitate is getting formed. In fact, in every step, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, in all the steps some or the other precipitates are getting formed, and there is a lot of sludge which is getting generated. Now As I told you that since this is done before sedimentation process, when you take it to the sedimentation tank, all of these particles are going to get settled or they are going to get sedimented, but there are still those fine particles which do not get sedimented, and these fine particles of these precipitates are going to cause problems in filtering process, which comes after your sedimentation. So it causes incrustation problem. Obviously this can be dealt using coagulants, but let's say if we are not using coagulant aided sedimentation, that time this is going to cause problem. So what to do with these fine uh, particles? So after sedimentation is done, you again treat that water and you convert those fine precipitates into and that conversion is done by passing CO2 gas, which is called as recarbonation process in the water, and that CaCO3, these precipitates, when it reacts with carbon dioxide plus water, it forms calcium bicarbonate, the temporary hardness, and it is going to form magnesium carbonate, which is also and it is going to form magnesium bicarbonate. So it forms these, but these are in very less quantity since the fine particles itself are in very less quantity. So this is generally not objectionable. Advantage of lime soda method: first is that it is an economical process. Second, can be easily combined with other treatment methods without much extra cost. Third, softening of water may reduce the amount of coagulants required in sedimentation aided with coagulation. Since we are removing a lot of things and a lot of things are getting precipitated, softening increases the pH of water, reducing the corrosion of distribution pipes. So it makes it more alkaline, thereby reducing the corrosion in the distribution pipes, since the water is not acidic, right? The alkaline environment sometimes help in killing the pathogenic bacteria. This will happen if the alkalinity caused by precipitates of calcium and magnesium is up to 20 to 50 milligram per liter and is retained in the treated water for about 4 to 5 hours. So as I told you in the disinfection module, that if the environment is alkaline, then the better is the killing process of bacteria. The treatment helps in reducing the total mineral content of water. Disadvantage is that a lot of sludge is formed in large quantities and their disposal has to be done. This sludge meaning all the precipitates, right? So these are formed. Sludge after drying, this sludge which is formed, this can be dried and it can be used in raising the low-lying areas. That is the areas which are prone to, which are prone to like flooding and all. If you want to raise their levels, you can just fill those areas with this sludge, and it is as good as a soil filling, somewhat like that. To remove 1 milligram per liter of calcium hardness, we need 1 milligram. It produces 1 milligram per liter of calcium carbonate as precipitate. And to remove 1 milligram of magnesium hardness, it produces 0.58 milligram per liter of magnesium hydroxide precipitate. Now comes a very important part. Listen to this very carefully. Total hardness. I had actually discussed about this much before in some classes. That total hardness is carbonate hardness plus non-carbonate hardness, right? And there is something called as alkalinity. Carbonate hardness is minimum of total hardness and alkalinity. Okay, so if it means that if total hardness is less than alkalinity, as I told you, it is minimum of both. So if total hardness is less, it means this is minimum. So carbonate hardness will be equal to total hardness, right? and if total hardness is greater than alkalinity, carbonate hardness will be equal to alkalinity. Correct? What happens to non-carbonate hardness if total hardness is less than alkalinity, that is we are dealing with this criteria, then carbonate hardness is equal to total hardness. Just equate here, put carbonate hardness is equal to total hardness, non-carbonate hardness will become 0, right? And when carbonate hardness is equal to alkalinity, then this is not equal to total hardness, so you can just subtract it, that is total hardness minus carbonate hardness, you will get non-carbonate hardness. So this is not 0, okay, this is not 0. Alkalinity on the other hand, it is present as carbonate alkalinity, bicarbonate alkalinity and hydroxide alkalinity or caustic alkalinity. Again, all these three are present in the forms of calcium, magnesium and sodium, all the three types of alkalinity. So carbonate hardness here is CaCO3, MgCO3, Na2CO3. Do you remember what is Na2CO3? It is nothing but soda, right? Which was used in light soda method. Then CaHCO3 twice, MgHCO3 twice, NaHCO3, and caustic is CaOH twice, MgOH twice and NaOH, sodium hydroxide. Now understand very carefully and listen to this very carefully. If non-carbonate hardness is present, that means carbonate hardness is equal to alkalinity. If this is present, it means it is this case, it means carbonate hardness is equal to alkalinity, right? What is non-carbonate hardness? Non-carbonate hardness generally exists as sulfates and chlorides. If you remember in the previous lime soda treatment, we saw what was non-carbonate hardness. It was present as CaSO4, MgSO4, CaCl2, MgCl2, right? And then this was this reacted with the soda, correct? These reacted with the soda and it formed the precipitate. So what I am saying is that if non-carbonate hardness is present, that means these all are present, right? These all are present in the water. If these are present, then obviously soda has to be absent, because if for them to be present in the water, soda has to be absent, because soda is going to ultimately react with them and is going to form some precipitates, right? So it means that if sulfates and chlorides of calcium and magnesium are present, then sodium alkalinity due to sodium is absent. So all these are absent because all of them are going to react with sulfates and chlorides and they won't let non-carbonate hardness to be present in the water. Correct? What inference can be made? That if alkalinity due to sodium is absent, carbonate hardness is equal to alkalinity. How did I reach to this conclusion? If alkalinity due to sodium is absent, then sulfates and chlorides of magnesium are present. If sulfates and chlorides of magnesium and calcium are present, it means non-carbonate hardness is present. If non-carbonate hardness is present, it means carbonate hardness is equal to alkalinity. So if A is equal to B equal to C equal to D, then A equal to D, right? This is the logic that we can use here. Did you get this inference? A very important inference. So yeah, this was about the lime soda treatment. In the next video lecture, we will be learning about the zeolite process and some other processes. Till then, take care. Thank you.